Yo, what is going on, you slackers? I am your host, Slackerz Gamer, bringing you another episode of Rate Their Chances. And if you haven't seen the series, really quickly, I'll be going over some pros and cons and then give my personal opinion at the end about a certain character's chance that they have to be playable in the upcoming Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. So, with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So, of course, we always start with some pros, and as you can tell, the character on screen today is Dillon from Dillon's Rolling Western. He did actually have a game that released not too long ago, I think a little over a month ago. It was called Dead Heat Breakers, so he does have a few games into his franchise. Definitely has a few, he's got his fan base. So let me go back a bit. So usually when I do characters, if you don't know, if this is your first time seeing the series, I like to kind of go over some big things. Does the character, moveset, is the moveset there potential-wise? Popularity, relevance, things like that. Like I was just saying, I think popularity, it's somewhat there. It's not nearly as big as some other characters that are, out there, especially for Nintendo, IP characters and stuff like that. But, he does have his following, and he was able to make it in Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS as an assist trophy, so that does say a little something about him, I'd have to say. But then kind of moving on to, I guess, if you want to go over moveset, and this one could be pretty big. So moveset-wise, a lot of people would compare him to, well, Sonic. As you can see on screen, a lot of people are thinking, if Dillon would ever get into the game as a playable character, he would be more of like an Echo Fighter now. And, I can see that, but there's also, a good argument for it otherwise, and we'll get to that once we get to the cons. But I think if Dillon does get into the game, it feels weird kind of saying this, but I think his best chance would be an Echo Fighter of Sonic, only because, they roll around and they're somewhat similar in body type, somewhat. I mean, Dillon seems to be a bit taller, maybe a bit bigger all around, but I think moveset-wise, if Dillon wanted to get in, or if Sakurai wanted to put him in, I think going the Echo Fighter route would be pretty simple. I don't know. It's tough for me to kind of rate Dillon right now. I don't know why, but let's just move on. Let me just move on to the next point. So like assist trophies. Same thing with Ashley that we did earlier today. His assist trophy has yet to be seen in any pictures of the day on their official website or in any gameplay from any events from E3 or afterwards. So that does have, it's got to say something about him at least, right? It was a point for Ashley, and you got to say it's a point for, well, any assist trophy that hasn't been seen yet. So, although it might not be the biggest pro, it's certainly worth noting at least. So, with that out of the way, I think we got to move on to the cons now. And when talking about Dillon, like on message boards and just to, I guess, video game fans, Smash fans in general, Dillon isn't really from a series that's, really too popular. Sure, yes, he does have his, he's got his fan base. I did say that earlier. But when considering, characters for this new upcoming Smash game, it's kind of like, and I did kind of say this with Ashley too, but are we really just kind of scraping for characters at this point? Is there, I really believe there's only a handful of actual Nintendo All-Stars that are really left that deserve to be in the game. So, reaching out to a series that, and again, this is no, dig at any character. I'm not trying to take any jabs at him, but is Dillon's Rolling Western really, a Nintendo, like an All-Star kind of franchise? A lot of people don't think so, and it's just kind of like, hey, he's a nice, he's got some cool games, he's a nice character. Let's just leave him as an assist trophy. That seems to be, the consensus, the majority that I hear when talking about him. People like him, but they think he's just fine, perfectly staying as the assist trophy. So, I'm kind of in that boat as well. I really do like Dillon as a character myself. And when I first, back in Wii U and 3DS, when I was kind of coming up with my own rosters and stuff, I actually would put Dillon as a possible playable character. After, when they revealed his assist trophy, I'm like, oh, he would have a chance, I think. But, the more I thought about it, is he popular? Is he big enough to be his own standalone character? And I guess that's up for debate, right? But the other thing that I wanted to get to when I was discussing, his moveset potential and how people kind of view him as an Echo Fighter of Sonic. A few points that have been made that I've seen, and I guess you could say it's a stretch a bit, but so if they took Dillon and just made him a straight up Echo Fighter of Sonic, right? Sure, you could have the rolling dash attacks, Dillon does kind of resemble Sonic in, a pretty decent way. Like I showed earlier. Oh, excuse me. Like I showed earlier in the picture, he was, they're roughly the same size. Dillon might be a little bit bigger. The limbs, arms and legs, they're pretty much the same size, I think. I think Sonic's legs are probably actually a bit longer than Dillon's. So one thing that I have seen quite a bit is Dillon's, if he was a straight up Echo Fighter, how would he do Sonic's up tilt, with his legs and the kicking and stuff? Some people are like, his legs are way too small. There's no way he could be able to incorporate that. And I'm thinking, well, I guess, but the animation is still going to be the same. They could make Dillon's legs just a little bit longer, or, like when Sonic does one of his punches, like a side punch or whatever, his hand actually gets, I guess, inflated, just gets bigger. So they could do that with, like, Dillon's feet or something like that, just to kind of keep it the same. I mean, it really wouldn't take that much, editing or anything like that for the character. So I don't know. Dillon's a tricky one. I don't think, honestly, he has the best chance. I think if this was, like a few years after, well, I mean, obviously it is a few years after Wii U 3DS, but if this was like, if Sakurai had more time to develop this and put in more characters, I think Dillon would get a lot more consideration. But since he came straight from the Wii U 3DS game, straight to the Nintendo Switch Ultimate, I don't think Dillon's going to have a high chance in this game. I really don't. I mean, he does got some things going for him. Like I said earlier, he is somewhat popular. Moveset potential could be there, especially in the form of an Echo Fighter of Sonic. But then again, that's kind of iffy. Of course, his assist trophy hasn't been seen as of yet. But, I mean, and then does he really fit truly to an Echo Fighter of Sonic? That's also up for debate. But I don't know. I guess, I personally, I can't see Dillon as a playable character in this game. I think he's going to just stay as an assist trophy, and I think that is completely fine for him. So I'd say my personal opinion for him, I'd put him at like 25%, honestly. It would be cool to see Dillon. I am a fan of him, but I'm not a huge fan where I'm like, yeah, he should definitely be, top 10 considered characters for being playable in the new game. He's not up there yet. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments about Dillon. What do you guys think? Would he fit as an Echo character of Sonic? I'm kind of yes and no. I don't know. I'm kind of over the place. Dillon was a little bit hard for me to rate, honestly. But I guess that is it for this one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments if I didn't already say that. But I guess that's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.